Hi, this is Kathy, and this is the intraday harmonic scenario for SPY for tomorrow, October 11th. Okay, coming into today, I was looking at SPY as in between two triangular type formations. Well, it's kind of invalidated the blue one, but I'm going to keep that blue trend line. Anyway, today, price breached above this black trend line, right? This is a wedge type, triangular type formation. But it's like psych, all it did was push up there and test that weekly sword line and fell back below the trend line. So still needs some kind of validation. We did push above resistance, right, on RSI, and we are at overbought again on the HSI. But we have divergence on the HSI. So which one is going to play out? What I'm looking at is price. As long as it holds below that trend line, it's going to either stall or pull back into support, 215.85 to 215.61. And that's going to be a very important support test. As long as it can hold there, it may be gearing up to do another attempt to come up here to this PRZ at 217.48 to 217.97. Okay? Otherwise, if it breaks down below this green golden ratio zone 215.61, the probability is it's going to test this blue trend line, which correlates with the bottom of the golden ratio zone 214.42, with the potential breach to that weekly sword line at 214.23. Below there, it's going to increase the probability of retesting the bottom of this consolidation, right? So even though there was a surge, needs a little bit more conviction to hold above this triangle, okay, or that trend line. And that's where we are. Okie doke. This is IWM. And coming into today, price was back at the bullish 50 pair Z. And I said, as long as even if it pulls down here and tests this 122.14, it still is a valid 50. And then we'd want to see if it could break above this Scion golden ratio zone, which it did, right? And so what happens with 5Os is once they go into retracement mode, in this case, this is bullish, so once it pushes to the upside, what it's drawn to is back to what created the 50 to begin with. In this particular case, it was the shark. So it was calling price to come back to that 124.88. Almost there, right? Now, I have this HP collection, the auto drawing of the harmonic patterns here, and that's what the gold is, right? Now, originally, coming into today, I was looking for this particular Scion pattern to be a bat. Now, you can still look at that as a bat, right? But I want to move my consensus over here to more like a butterfly. I'm sorry, Gartley. So I'm moving my Scion pattern to, I'm looking for the 121.15 now, but this is still like a double PRZ. So you got to look at it that way. If price is able to get back below this 123.54, there's a major magnet down here in between these yellow zones. Okay, that's what to look for price to pull towards it. Now, right now, price is in an uptrend, and a pullback because of expansion to 123.69 to 123.54 is a probability. And that would be a pullback mode until proven otherwise. So in other words, it still has upside pull, but as long as it can hold above this pullback area, the inclination is it's going to try to go up here to this higher target of 126.95. Okay? So initial levels to break and hold are going to be above 124.88 or below 123.54. I know that's a huge range, but until then, it's really just stuck in a sideways range, right? You can go to a smaller bar size, and look at what's going on at this weekly sword line. Right now it's holding below it, but the STP indicator, the dot, is saying I want to go up. Okay, RSI is saying I want to go up. The HSI is also wanting to go up. Any pullbacks, watch for the midpoint to be tested as support while price comes back and tests its support. And as long as all of those hold, it really has the probability of pushing higher. Okay? Okay, QQQ. Testing the top of the peers, this golden ratio zone. Also, this is a peer Z top, right? So this is a very important area. Now, the STP indicator is saying, because it's turned red, that this is it for this particular move to the upside. Doesn't mean it's stationary, that it's going to stay like that, but at this juncture, it's saying caution. Okay? This could just pull back to test 118.92 or to validate the uptrend. But until price can hold above this top of the golden ratio zone, 119.42, and this golden ratio zone, by the way, is an inverse head and shoulders target that was created way back here in June. Anyway, if price can hold above this golden ratio zone, it increases the probability of going to the extended target for this brown pattern up here at 120.89. Okay? Now, this where it is now is what I call a garfly, and that is basically a pattern in between a gartley and a butterfly. And so right now, if we can hold inside this golden ratio zone, it's going to be a matter of where does it break and hold below this golden ratio zone, all right, this blue zone. That's going to be the initial directional bias where it can break and hold. It isn't a defined uptrend, and so any pullbacks are just pullback mode until proven otherwise, and for me that would be for it to break down this golden ratio zone. And if that's the case, then it would increase the probability of going into retracement mode, and I'd look for these noted targets. Okay? And basically, I'm going to be looking for this area here between 116.75 and 116.49 for a very important support region. Ideally, in the world of harmonics, in my opinion, every harmonic pattern just dreams of retracing 100%. If that's going to be the case for this brown pattern, then I'm going to be looking for 113.63. Okay? All right, that's it.